Hi, Mystery Recapped here. Today I'm going to explain an adventure horror movie called Arachnid. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. The movie opens somewhere in the South Pacific Ocean as a translucent alien spaceship siphons up a large quantity of water. Along with the water, it also pulls in different kinds of marine wildlife. Nearby, a US military stealth bomber is returning back to its base after a routine flight. Suddenly, the pilot, Jolie Mercer, receives unusual signals on his radar, so he flies towards the spot where the spaceship is. Although it is now completely invisible, Jolie continues to receive radar signals. Soon afterward, his plane begins to malfunction due to the presence of a strange force field in the area. He desperately tries everything in his power to get it under control, but at the end, he is forced to eject seconds before his plane crashes into the invisible alien ship. Jolie lands on a nearby island, which is covered by thick jungle. He sees heavy smoke rising a few meters ahead and frees himself from the parachute. As he investigates the area, he finds the wreckage of his plane, along with parts of a strange spaceship lying around. Things get even weirder when an alien-like being partially appears from the wreckage. Terrified, Jolie pulls out his gun, but he soon realizes that the alien is begging for help. It is suddenly clutched from behind by some giant insect legs. Jolie tries to shoot at it, but a massive spider darts towards him, and the scene abruptly changes. 10 months later, on Guam Island, Jolie's sister and private pilot Lauren Mercer arrives at a local hospital. There, she sees a native tribesman from the island's forest receiving treatment for horrific facial injuries. Her brother's plane was also last spotted near the same jungle, and this sight becomes too much for her to handle. As Lauren gathers herself together, Dr. Samuel Leon and his assistant Susanna Gabriel notice her. They ask if she needs help, to which Lauren inquires what happened to the tribesman. Dr. Samuel replies that the man is suffering from necrotic paralysis due to an insect bite. Their conversation is interrupted by Lev Valentine, a retired Marine who recognizes both the doctor and Lauren. It is then revealed that Dr. Samuel summoned them to the hospital. He wants to lead a medical expedition to a nearby island so that they can find out what bit the tribesmen and stop it from spreading. Valentine will be in charge of security, while Lauren will be responsible for flying them to and from the island. Everyone agrees to the terms and conditions of the expedition, and they start preparing themselves. The following day, Lauren arrives early at the airport to check the plane's engine. Nearby, she notices a famous zoologist, Henry Capri, examining a spider that he picked up from the ground. Shortly afterward, the rest of the expedition team arrives. The group contains Valentine, his two soldiers Bear and Reyes, Dr. Samuel, Susanna, zoologist Capri, and native guide Towboy, along with two other native helpers. Surprisingly, Valentine and his men have brought heavy artillery for the trip, as if they're going to war. With all the luggage loaded, they climb into the plane and set off for the island. Everything goes well for the first few hours and the group has a fun time, but just as they're about to reach the island, the plane suddenly begins to malfunction. The engine switches off and they begin to drift towards the sea. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Lauren quickly takes control and instructs Valentine to use a hand pump so that the wings can be manually lifted up. The plan works, and the duo is able to guide the plane towards the beach instead of the water. Everyone survives the crash, and there are no injuries. Surprisingly, the engine also seems to be fine, although the whole plane is now deep into the sand. They cannot call for help, as a strange magnetic field around the island interferes with the satellite phone. In the meantime, Capri wanders away from the rest, checking out a spider species native to the island. When Valentine notices his absence, he sends Reyes to look for him. On the other hand, Capri begins the process of freezing the spider sample with the help of a liquid nitrogen canister. As he is doing so, a cat-sized spider drops a strange liquid on his hat, which corrodes through the rim like acid. Unaware of the danger, Capri looks up, trying to find where the liquid came from. Just then, Reyes arrives there and spots something moving in the bushes. He instantly opens fire, killing the insect and scaring Capri, but none of them notice the carcass of the strange creature and simply walk back to the beach. That night, the group camps by the seaside and discusses what their next step should be. Valentine thinks that they should try to get the plane up and running once again, but Dr. Samuel insists they complete their task on the island first. Since he is the one that funded this expedition, everyone is forced to agree with his decision. The following morning, the group packs their bags and heads deeper into the jungle. A few hours into their journey, several ticks fall from a tree and land on Reyes. This makes him scream in pain, and the others rush to his aid. To their horror, the ticks have already made their way under Reyes' skin. Capri points out that normal ticks do not exhibit such behavior and theorizes that these might be a new species. But as Reyes continues to scream in pain, Valentine decides that the group should take a break. Susanna examines the soldier and notices several larvae-like creature moving under his skin. As a result, she is forced to tranquilize him with a heavy dose of drugs, immediately putting him to sleep. An irritated Dr. Samuel then asks Capri about the nature of these ticks, but the latter remains silent. Despite working as a zoologist for several decades, he has never seen anything like this before. Dr. Samuel's enraged by his incompetence, so he begins to chastise him. This prompts Capri to storm away from the camp, ruining everyone's mood. As the rest begin to pack their stuff to restart the expedition, Lauren finds Capri nearby and consoles him. She tells him about her first flight and how horrible it went. Furthermore, she reveals that she's been reading Capri's book on spiders that he gave her at Guam airport. This lifts up his spirits, and the duo make their way back to the rest of the group. Shortly afterwards, they reach a hole that appears to be inhabited by a single massive spider. Valentine adds that this hole is a part of a tunnel network built by the Japanese during the Second World War. Furthermore, Capri finds a spider making its web on a tree branch, completely exposed to sunlight. He is bewildered, as this species is typically only found deep in the caves. Hence, he captures the spider for further examination, and the group presses on with their journey. A few hours later, they arrive at a village deep in the forest. The village is home to several native families, but currently it appears to be deserted. Nonetheless, Bear puts Reyes down on the porch of one of the houses, and Capri begins to examine the spider specimen he captured. To his surprise, the spider seems to have evolved and developed a hard exoskeleton. This leaves both Capri and Dr. Samuel shocked, as such evolution takes millions of years. Since there is no one remaining in the village, the expedition can no longer proceed further. Dr. Samuels now wants to return back to the beach and get out of this dangerous island as soon as possible, but Lauren shows him a piece of parachute that she recovered from one of the natives. The parachute clearly belonged to her brother Jolie, so she doesn't want to return without finding out what happened to him. As the group continues discussing, Reyes begins to puke blood violently. Several bug-like creatures also come out from his chest and eyes, causing him to scream in pain. Bear is unable to see his friend suffer like this, so he ends his life with a shot to the head. The incident freaks everyone out, and they finally realize that they should get out of here. That night, while everyone is asleep, Lauren sneaks out into the jungle by herself. She is only a few meters away from the village when a giant centipede-like creature attacks her. Frightened, she lets out a loud scream, alerting Valentine and the natives in their group. Towboy and one of his friends quickly rush to their aid with machetes in their hands. They manage to rescue Lauren, but the native is caught by the creature. It drags him up a tree and begins to strangle him, but before it can finish him off, Towboy hacks the creature's tail, prompting it to drop the native on the ground. They then quickly return to the village, where the rest of the group is ready with guns. Later, while everyone is trying to make sense of what's happening, Lauren finds a piece of military bag belonging to her brother. This finally makes her realize that he's no longer alive. The piece of parachute didn't do it, but the piece of bag does. Disheartened, she tells Valentine that she only agreed to this expedition so that she could look for her brother. Shortly after, Capri examines the tail of the centipede-like creature that Towboy had managed to hack off. He has never seen anything like it before, as the creature seems to be a crossbreed between several animals. Capri then theorizes that all the beings on this island have evolved to become apex predators. Upon hearing this, Valentine decides that the expedition has gone way too long, so they will return back to the beach the following morning. But when the sun rises the next day, Capri is nowhere to be found. Irritated, Valentine asks Bear and one of the natives to climb up the nearest hill to find a network signal. The rest of them then proceed to look for the missing zoologist. Unfortunately, Bear and the native man aren't able to reach far as they're attacked by yet another creature. Bear opens fire, but the creature spits acid, killing the native man before fleeing. Elsewhere, Capri reaches a clearing where the surrounding trees are completely covered in spider webs. This freaks him out, causing him to stumble to the ground. He then spots the carcass of the centipede-like creature that attacked their camp last night. Just as he wonders what kind of an animal could have killed this, a giant spider drops from the tree above and attacks him. After a while, the rest of the group also reaches the clearing. They are shocked to find Capri entangled between two trees, with his body covered in spiderweb while his head is still free. He anxiously reveals that a giant spider attacked and injected him with venomous neurotoxins. Because of this, he is feeling lightheaded and numb. Capri's body is also fused with the web, and now he's a living host for the spider's eggs. With no other option left, Susanna injects Capri with morphine so that he dies a painless death. The group then discusses their next move when suddenly a massive spider arrives at the scene. This prompts everyone to run for their lives, but Dr. Samuel is unfortunately caught and devoured. It then goes after Towboy, while Lauren, Susanna, and Valentine manage to run away. In the next scene, the trio reaches an abandoned military outpost deep in the jungle. They quickly lock the door behind them, but the giant spider climbs on top of the outpost. Susanna realizes that they are running out of ammunition, but they are forced to shoot when the spider breaks in through one of the windows. Now, with no bullets left in his gun, Valentine leaps at the beast with his knife. However, he is no match for the sheer power of the giant spider. It begins to drag him away from the outpost, but just as it's about to pierce his head, Lauren shoots its eyes. This causes the creature to let out a terrifying screech and momentarily retreat. The two women then drag the injured Valentine to a small cabinet in the outpost, but before they can close the door, the spider drags out Susanna and brutally kills her, right in front of Lorraine. Valentine pulls her inside, and the two manage to escape the outpost through a hidden trapdoor in the floor. Just as he predicted earlier, there's a vast network of tunnels underneath the island that was originally built by the Japanese. This leads them out to an open space, away from the spider. The duo is so exhausted that they can no longer run further and fall asleep right under the open sky. The following morning, Bear and Towboy stumble upon them and wake them up. Turns out they have managed to arrive here after evading the creatures in the forest. Since Valentine is gravely injured, they carry him to the mouth of the tunnel and leave him there. The remaining three then go inside with the intention of killing the spider once and for all. After a while, they reach a chamber where the spider seems to be undergoing molting while being wrapped in a cocoon of its own web. Lauren says that this is the best time to attack the beast, as insects have the softest exoskeleton immediately after undergoing molting. However, their plan backfires as the spider comes out of its cocoon earlier than expected. It goes right after Bear and kills him on the spot. Next, the beast turns its attention to Lorraine and wraps her in its web. But as it drags her deeper into the tunnel, Towboy hits its underbelly with 3 poisonous darts. This weakens the creature enough for Lorraine to pull it down onto a sharp-edged rock, fatally impaling it. In the final scene, an injured Valentine and Lorraine walk out of the cave. As they make their way towards the beach, another giant spider watches them from an overhead cliff. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.